All right, man. Torture Talk. Like, share, subscribe to the page. Consider subscribing if you like the content. So I seen this on my boy's channel. He ain't really my boy, but I follow him. He's pretty good. I watched him come up pretty good. So I seen this. I seen him reacting to this, and I wanted to do my own reaction to it. I think it's this is Piers Morgan talking to about trans athletes' rights and stuff like that. And we're gonna get into this, man. This is a goodie, man. It's a goodie.
The battle that's raging between women's rights and transgender rights is a serious battle. It's a serious debate. And you can see what's happening at the Guardian newspaper, ripping itself apart now between the two camps of feminists and the transgender community who say they're being anti-transgender. This issue of, for example, women's sport. We've got the Olympics coming. You've got a New Zealand weightlifter who lifted as a male in competition, who's now smashing records, having identified as female. This is where it does get, I think, quite serious for the potential effect it has on women's rights. Are you happy for anyone born to a male biological body to simply raise their hand without any need for surgery and to compete in the Olympics against women born to female biological bodies?
So
that question right there is excellent. That was an excellent question. I think the way he put that, she has no choice but to dance around that question. Because if she says anything that will offend the community that she represents, they'll cancel her. They'll get her out of here. So I can tell you right now, she's going to dodge that question.
Huge fan of athletics, and this has been a really big raging debate, because particularly around the issue of Caster Semenya, and so I've been following it really closely.
But hang on, Caster Semenya that's a different case.
Different case.
But actually there are really problematic issues here.
Caster Semenya is not a trans athlete.
No, there's an argument about whether Caster Semenya is a man or a woman, and it's been, you know, there was a documentary about it.
Yeah, but that's a different case.
Sorry,
we're talking about people self-identifying with male biological bodies saying, I am female, I'm now competing against women born to female biological bodies. That's the debate.
But the point that I'm making is this, is that there have been all these issues raised in sport over recent...
But that's not... See, and this is why I hate people like her. I don't hate her because I don't know her. But this is why I hate people like this in the conversation. Because what they do is they try to parry to something else. Because they don't want to answer your questions. So what they do is they muddy the waters and start talking about something that has nothing to do with what you're talking about. Or something that is similar, but it's not the case. And what she's doing right now is she's moving to another topic that she feels as though that she wants to get across. So technically, she ain't answering his question. But what she's doing is she's virtual signaling to everybody else. Like, look, I'm going to ask him the question I want to ask him. Well, what's the bigger debate? It's like, oh, well, that debate is fine, but this is the bigger issue. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is what I'm here for.
Is about who qualifies into which contest. That debate is also raging in relation to disability and what level of disability qualifies you to...
Like, what does this have to do with what he asked you? What he asked you was a simple question. What does this have to do with that? What does this have to do with that? Like, for real. What does this have to do with that? I don't understand why you even, like, what are you talking about right now? You talking about disability, like athletes and disability. That's not what he asked you. We could discuss that after you answer my question.
In the Paralympics.
Just back to my question. Should any man or anyone born to a male biological body be able to self-identify as a woman without any surgery or any of that transition process and compete in professional sport against women born to female biological bodies? Because that's...
See, I could tell you right now, she's going to go on the attack. I could see it all in her face. I can see it in her face. She's going to go on an attack because she can't get around what he's saying. So she has to sling mud or do something because she can't get around it. She can't. This is the most people that stand on that side, whenever they ask these questions, 99% of them, they don't give an intelligent answer. They either parry to something different or they sling mud. And I can tell you right now, she's going to do one or the other.
Of the debate.
Yeah, that is the nub of the debate.
What's
but
your answer?
What I'm saying to you is there are broader issues here that sport is going to have to grapple with about who is allowed to compete.
Well, we had a trans activist on last week, for example, who said she would be happy if Usain Bolt or if Floyd Mayweather spent a year taking testosterone treatment and then competed in the 100 metres women's Olympics or female boxing. Now, would you be happy for Usain Bolt or Floyd Mayweather, and I don't think either of them are planning to do this, but if they decided to self-identify as women and spend a year on testosterone treatment, are you happy for them, as this trans activist was last week, to then compete against women born to female biological bodies?
The questions he are asking, she can't get around. He's asking her questions where she cannot get around them. So what she keep doing is, well, she tries to get around him, but she got to answer him, because if she don't answer him, it's just basically her just dancing around it the whole time. But these questions, if he stays on her, she got to answer these questions. But she's not going to answer them because she haven't answered nothing yet.
I was trying to make, before you cut me off, was that I think there has to be a commission set up in sport to decide what the parameters are of the...
And that would be a problem. That would be a problem, because what happens when one of the commissioners or whoever decides that, hey, this person is a man, and y'all believe that they're a woman? What happens then? That's why that doesn't work. That doesn't work. You want to set up a commission basically just to tell you something different, and you get mad about it? Come on, man. What are you talking about?
Sporting rules. I mean, these are rules that are set by sporting bodies.
But it's not fair, is it?
By governing bodies.
It's just not fair.
No, but you've got to make sure it is fair.
It's damaging to women's rights.
That is my point. You've got to make sure that it is fair. You've got to make sure that it's fair for every generation of athletes that comes through.
How is it? What are you talking about right now? Like, what are you talking about right now? You're just saying a bunch of garbage right now. So you're telling me that basically, let's just get down to it. You put Floyd Mayweather in a ring with a woman, even though he identifies as a woman. Let's say he identified as a woman tomorrow. This is his question. He's saying, on the fly, people could just identify as whatever they want to identify as. So what happens if Floyd Mayweather say, hey, I'm a woman today, and he goes boxing? You okay with that? That's the question he's asking you. And you keep dancing around it.
And it is for sport to have a proper commission to sit down and work out where the boundaries
you don't need
are drawn.
You don't need a commission to work out it wouldn't be right for Floyd Mayweather to identify as female and then fight women boxers born to female biological bodies.
Look at her face. Look at her. You could tell that she feels like, oh shit, he got me. There's nothing I can say. I'm gonna have to resort to something else because he got me. He got me.
A commission issue, it's a common sense issue, isn't it?
No, I don't.
You're about to be potential leader of the Labour Party, and you say that this is something that doesn't really matter. And I
think it does matter.
I think these things.
I think it does matter.
I think it is crushing
there's a basic
women's
inherent
rights.
question of how you treat people properly in this country.
Yeah.
And I represent domestic violence victims who feel very, very strongly the need for safe spaces in this country. And I represent trans people who also are amongst some of the most discriminated against people in this country.
But you can support transgender rights.
I will not allow this to become a zero-sum battle between two people.
But nor will you give me a straight answer,
people
Lisa.
who deserve support. Because why would you make policy about the rules governing sport sitting on Good Morning Britain as a Labour leadership contender?
What are you talking about? That's not even what he was saying. Like, what are you talking about? You're just throwing anything out there now. What are you talking about? He's not asking for you're the one that brought up the commission. Now you're saying that you're not going to sit here and talk about the rules of it. You was the one that brought it up. What?
It's me as the way that you get into this.
Why wouldn't you on Good Morning
argument.
Britain just tell our viewers whether you think it's fair, as a trans activist said last week on this programme, that Usain Bolt could self-identify as female and compete against women born to female biological bodies?
Because you are doing it. Because I'll tell you why.
Good,
I'll tell you why.
Lisa. Here it goes. Here it goes. Here it goes. I told you. Here it goes.
I'll tell you why. Because you are doing what too many people have done in this debate.
Asking a straight question?
No, you've created more heat and less light. You're setting up an example that is just simply nonsense.
No, absolute nonsense.
It's a straw man.
I've asked you
Usain Bolt is not planning to self-identify as a woman and run in...
But that's not the question he asked you. Like, see, look, and this is how I know you know. This is how I know that she knows she's wrong. Because she automatically went to say Usain Bolt is not, he's not planning on becoming a trans activist, right, or a runner or whatever, right? But she know if he did, it wouldn't be fair. This is exactly why she's doing what she's doing, because she know in her head that this shit wouldn't be fair. She know that.
Woman's
but what we are saying...
And that's why I say, take the heat out of this and let's have a sensible,
I'm sorry to be pedantic about this,
where the parameters lie.
In Connecticut, for example, in America, there are two trans athletes who were competing as male athletes, born to male biological bodies, tall, powerful, very fast. They are now identifying as female, and they're smashing all Connecticut women's records. I don't think that is fair to women's rights.
Right.
And you might be the first female leader, I'm presuming you're still identifying as female, of the Labour Party. And if you are, this is a proper issue about how far do trans rights override women's rights. And
that you can't get around that. You got to answer that question.
I think that your inability to give me a straight answer is your problem, not mine.
I am giving you a straight answer, Piers. I'm saying that
you're not.
No, I'm saying that you are setting up a straw man in this in order to pit one group of people against another.
No, he's not. He's asking you a legitimate question. It has nothing to do with this. Stuff happens every day. This is what he's saying. He says it's okay for just normal people to do it, but what happens now when you have athletes who've been fighting as a man or running as a man for years decide that they want to be this? How's he setting up a straw man? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Just answer the question. Say, you know what? I think that's something that we should discuss a little more, or whatever answer you want to give. But you trying to act like he's just playing this game. No, he's asking you a straight up question. What happens if this happens? What do y'all do about it then? That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying.
It is not.
Well, let me give you an exact. Okay. Then what about the weightlifter in New Zealand, who is wanting to compete in the Olympics as a female weightlifter, who previously competed as a male weightlifter born with a male biological body? Is that right?
That's why I said to you we need to set up a commission to consider these issues.
You won't have a commission in time for the Olympics. They're in 3 months.
Yeah, but this is why sport needs to get together and sort this out.
Is it fair, Lisa?
Well, it's not fair if there are no rules. It's not.
Yo, just answer the question. Like, what the fuck? Just answer the question. You don't want to answer the question because you know he's right. You don't want to answer the question. You know he's right. It's like okay. A person like her would say assault is assault, right? If a man who identifies as a woman beat her up, would she go to court and say that that's a woman that beat me up? Or would she say, if she knows she can get more charges on him, would she say, well, he was a man. He was a man at one point. He was physically stronger than me. He did whoop my ass. Or would she just be like, oh, no, he's trans. It don't matter. Like, come on, man.
If there are no rules, that's why we have to have proper rules. But the idea that you want to one group of people against another. I just think this is not good enough. It does have.
You know what I think is not good enough, Lisa? What you're not doing is giving a straight answer.
I am giving a straight answer.
You're not.
No, I am giving a straight answer.
You're trying to actually do everything but give a straight answer.
No, I'm sorry.
Because you're worried about the reaction your answer will cause you.
No.
You're worried that the trans community will accuse you of betraying them.
I'm worried about what you are doing to some of the most marginalised people in the country.
What am I doing?
You are trying to create...
What am I doing but trying to defend women's rights from a grotesquely unfair situation where people born to male biological bodies who have an obvious superior strength and power are now being able to simply say, I'm female, and compete against women born to female bodies. What am I doing that's so wrong?
You are attacking some of the most marginalised people in this country.
Who am I attacking?
By setting up a false war between women.
No, how's he setting up a false war, though? Like, how? You're the one that's setting up the false war. Because he's asking a fundamental question, and what you're doing is you're trying to set up the false war. You're trying to make it seem like what he's saying is so wrong. It shouldn't be said. This stuff shouldn't be said because trans people they're being under attack. And it's like she wants to make sure she put that out there so to make him look like the bad guy. Like, it's crazy.
And trans women.
I'm not attacking anyone. I've always supported transgender rights. I'm not attacking anybody.
Yes, you are.
I'm defending I'm defending women's rights.
Well, that would be a first, to be honest.
It wouldn't actually. I defend women's rights a lot on this programme.
I'm sorry, I think this is just outrageous.
You
are setting up two groups of people who deserve better against one another.
By asking a question about whether they should compete in sport.
No, by saying that this is a simple issue that doesn't require some careful thought in order to protect two groups of people who frankly deserve...
No, that's not... No, see? And this... You want to answer it the way you want to answer it by not answering it. That's what you want to do. That's exactly what she's doing right now. Like, you sitting here saying, oh, well... She said, so he asked you a simple question. He's asking, calling for violence, or he's asking... He's not, considering trans people's rights by asking you whether it's fair. He said, no, that's not it. That's not it. What he's doing is he's trying to pin people against each other. No, he's not. He just asked you a question. He asked you, was it fair or not? You said, no, it's not fair, but it's what it is today. Like, that's what you could have said. Sorry.
Than this basic...
Yeah, what they need, actually, is for people in leadership positions to be honest and to make proper decisions.
Yes, and that's what I'm doing.
What they don't want is that anyone who's asked a question then says, stop attacking me.
We need far less heat, far more light, and you've just shown exactly why over the last few minutes.
Wow. Is that what you really think?
Yes, that is exactly
what I really think. Do you really think viewers watching this think I've been attacking transgender people?
Yeah, I do.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
I bet you not one of them thinks that.
You said it was grotesque.
No, I said it's grotesquely unfair to women if transgender athletes born to male biological bodies with superior strength and power are able to compete against them in female competition as, say, weightlifters or boxers.
But that's why...
Yo, oh my God, yo. Yo, you can't get around that. You just got smoked. He just smoked you with that. Oh my God. Oh my God. See? And this is what they do. This is exactly what they do. What they do is they tell you. See how she said, well, you said it was grotesque. He didn't say it was grotesque. He never said transgenderism was grotesque. He never said that. But she would go tell her friends that. And guess what? Her friends would believe it. And they'll tell their friends. And their friends would believe, oh, he said transgender was grotesque. Not knowing that that's not what he said. This is the problem that we running into. She wasn't even listening to nothing he said the other time. Because she would, if she was, had some type of, how would I say, integrity about her, she would have never said that. She would have said, well, you know what? You didn't say that.
Some proper rules around.
Why can't you just give me a straight answer and agree that's unfair?
No, I said you need rules.
All right.
It's unfair not to have
You
rules.
want a consultation about it. I think that is your answer.
I tell you, man, we dealing with some crazy times right now, man. And Piers Morgan put the boots on her. And I think that she There's nothing she could have did about that one. She got the beat. She got the boots beat. The boot beaten. She got the debate boot beaten on her. Debate boot beaten. Told you talk. Like, share, subscribe to the page. You know what it is.